Our tree house. When my brother and I were children, we were lucky enough to have our father build a tree house for us in an old beech which towered above a remote corner of our back garden. Timothy and I spent hours on end in that thing, and for the most part one only have happy memories of it, apart from one particular day. It was the long school summer holiday, we were 8 and 10 respectively, and we were bored out of our minds. I'm pretty sure it was Timothy who suggested running doorbells. He was 2 years older than me and almost always the source of trouble. Anyway, this seemed like a pretty fun idea to me. Most of our neighbors had plenty of shrubs in their front yards, so there was plenty of cover for mischievous children. For a few minutes we caused fairly harmless havoc throughout the street, ringing the doorbells and scurrying to the cover of the bushes. Unfortunately, around 5 knocks in, our luck ran out. The owner of the house, instead of being innocently occupied elsewhere, was on the very point of coming through the front door with a package, and we had only gotten about 12 feet away in our flight when the door opened and he saw us. If we had been actually at the door, we could probably have bluffed something, but our intent was crystal clear. The guy yelled something inaudible but clearly angry, put the package in his car and began to advance towards us. We needed no further bidding, we took to our heels and disappeared around the corner. A few streets later, we were back home, and were sitting on the garden wall, discussing the close shave, when the guy reappeared at the top of our streets. We rushed into the garden and up the rope ladder into the tree house. We lay there quietly, hearts beating double, looking down at the ground from our hidey hole. Inevitably, Mother eventually appeared in the garden, with the guy himself in tow. She had evidently seen us climbing up to the tree house. "You too. You come down here right now. I want a word with you." Timothy put his finger to his lips in an order to me to stay quiet, maybe in the vain hope that Mother would think she had been mistaken. She and the man spoke quietly for a moment, then I heard him say more audibly, "Well, I'll leave you to deal with them." We couldn't hear Mother's reply, but they went back into the house and he presumably took his leave. Presently, Mother appeared under the tree again. "Tanya, Timothy, I know you're both up there and I know what you did. I'm not risking my neck to haul you down, but you'd better believe that whenever you come down from that treehouse, the paddle will be waiting for your bottoms." With that, she went back into the house. We held out for some time, probably a couple of hours as I recall. Mother kept an old fleaback paddle for our misdemeanors. It produced a hot, stinging bottom and a whole bunch of tears, and I had no doubt we would be ending up getting a taste if we went down immediately. Timothy reckoned if we held out for a bit, Mother's anger would subside and we might get away with just a good scolding. In actuality, of course, our deliberate disobedience and delay was only making a few good swats of that paddle ever more sure. Eventually, it started to rain. The tree house wasn't really very waterproof, and our clothes soon started to soak through with the wet. We were both wearing jeans, and denim in particular is a miserable material to wear when wet. I finally turned to Timothy. "Come on, we better go get this over with. At least we'll get warm and dry." Just where we were about to get warm was another matter, of course. Anyhow, by now Timothy was as fed up as I was and we skulked through the back door into the kitchen. Mother wasn't there, but the first thing we both noticed was the paddle out on the table ready. We heard the downstairs toilet flush and Mother came into the kitchen, having evidently gone for a pee. To our dismay, there was no sign that her anger had diminished in any significant way. "So you decided to come down and face the music at last, like honest children would? Well, better late than never. I think you had better go and change into some dry clothes first, no sense in you dying of pneumonia. As soon as you're ready, get your butts back down here in the kitchen, the paddle is waiting for them." We scurried up the stairs and dispersed to our respective bedrooms. I took off all my clothes, even my panties were soaked through, I remember, toweled myself down a bit, then changed into a fresh, dry set. The last thing on earth I wanted was to go downstairs for a spanking, but I knew it made no sense to keep Mother waiting any longer. When I got back down, Mother had put 2 kitchen chairs out, side by side, in the center of the room. She already had the paddle in her hand. She tapped the furthest away chair with it. "Bend over there." Timothy had yet to arrive, but I could hear him coming down the stairs. I did as I was told and bent over, feeling very vulnerable. I heard Timothy's step on the kitchen floor. Mother must have pointed at his chair, because I heard no tap this time, just, "Bend over the chair." Timothy came to stand by me and I saw his. "Right, hold still while I dish this out, and I hope it teaches you both a good lesson." There was a pause and then we both simultaneously gave out a yelp, and Mother's strategy at making us bend over close was now clear, as the first swat was shared evenly between my left buttock and Timothy's right. For a few hot, tearful minutes, Mother paddled us efficiently and without mercy, varying the target as she went. Sometimes just one of us would get it right across our bottom cleavage, sometimes there would be a single, hard whack to our outer buttock, then Mother would come back to the center again and the sting would be shared between both our bottoms. It seemed like an age but was probably only a few minutes. Mother handed us a tissue each to dry our eyes and we fully expected her next move would be to send us straight to bed in disgrace. However, much to our surprise, she went to put the paddle away and came back with our coats. "Put these on. You are coming along with me to apologize. Come along, quickly." Naturally, that was the last thing we wanted, as our backsides were already on fire.